Welcome to Kevin's Food for Thought. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us reach as many people as possible. And now here is your host, Kevin Moore.
I'm going to jump right in. Matthew 17, verse 14. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed, for oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him, and I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to him. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, Why could we not cast him out? And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. We've talked about this a lot on this channel. Verse 21, howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. That's removed from a lot of Bibles. This is King James. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my childhood and a quick story about me and my mom. Yeah, it's funny to me now, but maybe I was onto something. I don't know. It was just me believing the Bible wholeheartedly and just taking it for face value. So I think I was about 11, and my mom, we might have been living at that church, Desert View Church of God in Tucson, with Pastor Roy Stewart and his wife Vicky. I believe that we were living at the church at the time. And my mom came walking down the steps from the Sunday school. I don't think anybody else was there, but I was off by myself. I was sitting they had like this little playground area where it was basically just old monster truck tires that were donated by like the Gravedigger or something. And I was sitting on one of those tires, and I was just, I must have been 11, maybe 12. I might have been 12. And I was just crying. And I was sitting there, and then I walk over, and I'm like, well, that didn't work. So I'm just going to go sit on the steps. And I didn't think anybody was going to be seeing me or running across me. And I was just sitting at the bottom of the steps. So I got up off the truck tire, and I walked over to the steps, about 50 yards away. And I'm sitting on the steps, and I'm just crying. Just feeling bad about myself. And my mom found me, and she sat down next to me. She's like, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Why are you so upset? And I said, Mom, and I could barely get it out because I was just sobbing. And I said, I don't even have the faith of a mustard seed. She's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I commanded that truck tire to move, and it didn't. And my mom giggled a little bit and said, oh, Kevin, I love you. And so then she started talking to me about the Bible and stuff like that. And that story ties in to something that happened to me just a few days ago. Kevin once again tried to do that. The difference is that when I was a child, I was just trying to move it because I'm like, oh, well, Jesus said that we can move stuff, you know? And we weren't allowed to watch Star Wars and stuff like that as a kid, but now thinking back, I'm like, who did I think I was? Luke Skywalker? And I heard that in church. I heard the pastor talk about it, and he was talking about moving mountains out of your life and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I can do that. Surely I have just a little tiny bit of faith. And yeah, that's that story. And so now, Kevin, at 39 years old, a few days ago, we get hammered by snow, right? The snow drifts in my front yard about 4 foot tall, probably. And we can't get out of the house. Can't go to the store. I think I was getting a little stir crazy not being able to leave. Like, it's funny when you're able to do something, you're fine just, sitting around. But when you can't do something, you can't leave the house, all of a sudden you want to leave the house. We always want to do what we can't do. But anyway, I decided to grab my snow shovel and go out there and start shoveling. And I was probably out there twice for about 30 minutes each, maybe, shoveling the snow. And it's just, there's so much. And I have like a roundabout, kind of like it's like a U. My driveway has an in and out. And it's, concrete. And it had iced for 13 hours before it snowed. So it's just ice and then tons of powder. And it doesn't seem to be that hard to move, but it's when it's that cold and you're just one man and it's a big front yard. And I'm like, so I'm just out there and I'm digging and I'm digging and I'm digging and I'm getting discouraged. And I'm looking at the task in front of me and honestly, it's depressing me because I feel like a lot of my daily life sits on my shoulders. I seem to just constantly be doing everything on my own. And so I'm digging and I'm digging all this snow out of my yard and trying to push it off to the side. And I'm like, God, this is a lot. This is going to take me forever. And I'm already tired and I'm already cold. And so then I remembered Matthew 17. Of course, somebody's calling me while I'm filming. So I remember Matthew 17. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm still, I still believe that that is possible. Even though it didn't happen when I was a kid, why did it not happen? Because it was glorifying me, not God. That's why it didn't happen. And so I remember it, and I look at the snow. I'm like, if I can get out this side of my driveway, I'm not worried about that side. But if I can get out this end, then I can get out. And so I point at the snow, and I command the snow to move over yonder. And I even used the same words that Jesus used. And gosh, they keep calling me. And so then my girls come out and they start playing, and I'm just scooping a little bit here and there. And I start making stairs for them, for the girls to get up on the snow. 'Cause it's pretty high and they keep falling down. And my daughter Emma's like, Dad, I can't get up here. Dad, I can't get up here. Help me. And so I'm like, okay, I'll make you stairs. Hold on. My snow shovel breaks. See, after I made those stairs for the kids, I was going to continue, even though I had prayed and even though I believed it. I prayed and I put it out of my mind. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't have time to doubt it. That's the key. I didn't have time to doubt the command that I had given the snow. And I know it seems silly. Maybe seems dumb to a lot of people, but if you know what I've been through in the last few months, it's a big deal to me. For me not to have to shovel all that out and be exhausted when I'm already mentally and physically exhausted. Man, it was a big deal to me. I prayed it. I put it out of my mind. I forgot about it. My snow shovel breaks. And I'm like, okay. After I made these stairs, I was going to continue to shovel this snow out. I know that I'm stubborn. I know that I'm a fix-it guy. If something happens, I want to fix it. I can do that. Yes, I can put a transmission in. Yes, I can put a hot water heater in the basement. I can do all of this stuff. And if I can't do it, I'll figure it out. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. I've talked about that. So I'm just like, okay, well, I can't even. And then my daughter Olivia says, it's okay, Daddy. We'll get a new one. And I said, honey, I have to be able to get it out of the driveway before I can get a new one. So I'm stuck. And so the girls were getting cold. So I'm like, come on, let's go inside and take a break. And we'll come back out later. I'm sitting on the couch. I take my boots off by the front door. I take my jacket off. I've got all my cold weather layers on. I sit on the couch and I'm like, well, I'm going to dump all the pictures that I took of the girls playing in the snow on my phone because I had my good camera out there with me, taking pictures of them. And then I'm like, oh, that must be the trash guy coming to get the trash. And I'm like, wow, he's really sticking around. And then Laramie yells out, there's a guy in our driveway scraping our driveway. I'm like, what? I'm like, who would be doing that? So I get up and I look out there and he waves at us and I'm just like, okay, I don't even know who this guy is. Where did this guy come from? What made him? I'm like, he must have been driving by and been like, oh, that poor man. That poor guy. That's a lot to shovel with just one person. So I get my boots back on. I get my jacket on. I go out there. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to give this guy some money. Clears my whole driveway. And the spot that I wanted cleared so I could get out of my house, that snow was placed in the same area where I commanded the snow to go. And I'm not even realizing it. In the moment when everything is happening, I wasn't even aware of it. It didn't even dawn on me, my prayer, until after the man left. So I'm standing out there, I'm waiting. He just does his thing. I'm standing out there for probably 15 minutes. And he's just rocking his Bobcat. Just a long sleeve t-shirt. He's got a backup camera. He's got an HVAC system in it. He's got a radio. He's completely comfortable. And so he parks finally, and he doesn't just like clear the driveway. He clears the main road. And, you know, a lot of people, they'll clear their driveway or clear the road, but then it's blocked up in your driveway and you can't get out. He cleared everything. Like 10 yards to the left and 10 yards to the right to make sure that I could get out. He steps out and he says, "That was way too much GD snow for one man to move." And I laughed. I didn't like his words he used, but I laughed. And I said, "Thank you so much." And I tried to give him money. And he said, "You owe me nothing." And he shook my hand and said, "I'm your neighbor," and told me his name. His family has never liked me, ever. I've had 2 or 3 run-ins with his dad, and me and his dad have almost come to blows many times. This was back when I wasn't serving God. His dad does not like me. He always waves, but I'm just like, every time I'm mowing, he'll go out there and he'll be mowing to mow his property line. Because out in the country, farmers do not like you just mowing just a little bit of their property because they think you're trying to slowly steal the land from them, and then they get really mad. Anyways, I had some friends of my brothers over, and apparently I wasn't here one day when they went shooting, and they left some shooting wood shrapnel from a pallet on his property, and he came into my garage once and pounded on the door. I'm like, that sounds like a sheriff knock. I'm like, well, I don't know what they want. They're definitely not here for me because I don't do anything. Open the door, he puts the wood in my hands, and he said, "Stay off my property." And I said, that wasn't me. I'm sorry, I apologize. I had my brothers and my friends over here. I don't know if they know where my property line is. And he said, "I didn't ask for your effing excuses." I'm like, okay, well, you're in my garage right now, talking down to me, a grown man, but okay. So I apologized and let it go. And so, yeah, me and his dad did not get along at all for a long time. And so I was kind of shocked that he was the one scraping my driveway. And I've never had an opportunity to talk to his dad and try to smooth things over. I haven't seen him much lately. He gave part of the land to his son. But anyway, he told me his name and that he was my neighbor, and I thanked him, and I said, you know, I was going to do it. And then my snow shovel broke. And I was going to even do it with a broken snow shovel. And he said, I'm like, that's a lot of snow. He's like, yeah, we've had some 4-foot drifts over there and bigger, you know, over by my house, which isn't too far away. It's like 300, 400 yards away. Anyway, he says, well, now the kids have a little hill that they can slide down. She's like, well, have a good day. And he left. And it wasn't until he was out of my driveway and down the road a little bit, about 10 yards maybe 5, I don't know. I remembered Matthew 17 and what I had said. And now I know that my snow shovel breaking is like, are you going to pray for something, but then you're going to try to do it yourself? No. So did God break my snow shovel so I wouldn't do it? So I wouldn't get in my own way? Maybe. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe. Maybe it was just cold and it broke. The point is that the reason why it happened is so I could talk about it. That's the only reason. 12-year-old Kevin was trying to move something for his own glory. 39-year-old Kevin, this happened and it glorified God. It doesn't glorify me at all. I didn't do it. The snow shovel broke. I didn't move that snow. I moved such a tiny percentage of it. So when you have these mountains in your life, pray. Command it. Put it out of your mind and don't think about it. If you're still dwelling on it, you're going to get doubt. You're going to get doubt. And then after that incident, I started thinking back of times where I've prayed and then something happened. And I'm like, man, every time that I prayed like that, and I just immediately forgot about it and put it out of my mind, like, I know what'll happen. Boom. It happened. I didn't have time to doubt it. That's amazing to me. It seems, oh, well, that's a coincidence. I don't care. I don't care what you think. The funny thing is, a lot of times in the Bible it says within the hour, within the hour, within the hour, within the hour, when Jesus did stuff. That man and that family that I've never gotten along with, they were within the hour. He's in my driveway shoveling it out. Don't tell me that's a coincidence. I feel blessed. I feel lucky. It's almost like God's saying, I'm with you. I hear you. It doesn't matter what sin you've committed. It doesn't matter the amounts of sins that you've had in your life and that you suffer from condemnation or whatever. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm working. Even though you can't see me, I'm right here working. And so I go and I'm crying out in the garage. When he pulls away, I remember the scripture. I'm just bawling like a baby. And I said, thank you to God. And he said, now you have something to talk about. Now you have something to film. Because I was also feeling like I've been trying to study and it's hard. There's so much stuff that's making this difficult. Right before Christmas, I lost my job. December 2nd, owner comes in and says, I'm closing the construction division of the company. Handshake and I'm sorry. No explanation of what happened. Is it finance related? Did we not do a good enough job? And I've been trying to build my own business, and that's slow going. I started selling and designing t-shirts and coffee mugs. I've got my own LLC now. I've got my mug, so if you want one, you want a t-shirt or something, my Etsy is More Designs by Kevin. And on Amazon, it is More Designs LLC. But anyway, it's been a struggle. It's like hey, Merry Christmas. You don't have a job. But I'm here. I'm surviving. He's always with me. I love you. God bless.
Thank you for watching, and Godspeed.